Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And we are back with Dr. Jo Baldwin. Yes, she's the founder of Dr. Jo Baldwin Coaching, located in Northwest England, but she works with you anywhere around the world, and she can help you with transformational coaching, especially for those women out there working in professional careers like myself. So, Dr. Jo, please welcome back and introduce yourself to everyone to start.
Hi, thank you, Jill. Good to be back. Yes, I'm a women's transformational and mindset coach. As you said, I'm based in the northwest of England, the UK. And I help women basically bring back some sparkle to their lives, particularly women who've reached a certain stage in life and are looking around and thinking, is this it? There must be more. And those transition moments in life where it's what's the next step? Which way shall I go? And quite often they're a little bit undecided, not quite sure. And that's where I come in as a bit of a hand to hold and a cheerleader to cheer them on.
Beautiful. And just tell us how we can find out more about you and give us your website, phone number, any social media pages.
Yeah. So my website is www.drjobaldwin.co.uk. So that's DRJOBALDWIN.co.uk. And my email address is jobaldwin.coaching@gmail.com. So happy for you to get in touch with me by email, or if you take a look at the website, there's lots of info on there, and there's a button to book a call with me if you want to chat through how we could work together.
Beautiful. All right. So reset your life, but first radically replenish. That's the name of the game today. And we want to talk more about this. What made you choose this specific topic for today, Dr. Jo?
So it's really a result of a lot of the work I do with my clients. A lot of them are women who just feel like it's their time now. They've perhaps sacrificed their career so they could raise their family, and now the kids are growing up and it's time for them. They feel it's time to reset life, to press that reset button. We don't need to stick with the status quo just because we've reached a certain age and this is the way we've always done it. I think there is plenty of time and opportunity to make changes. So a lot of these women, as I say, they've put things on hold. They don't regret for a moment the sacrifices they made. They've done a great job. They know that. They've had the family life they wanted. But these women have skills, they have talents, and they know it's time to re-emerge into life, into society, contributing, in their capable, competent way. But it just might not feel quite so clear to them which way to turn. And in some cases, it's perhaps women who have been a single mum, raising their children alone. Children are now flying the nest, and it now feels time to find love and romance for them. But perhaps they need to tweak things, make some changes, reinvent themselves almost. And again, they're just not always quite sure of how to go about doing this. So this is where we sort of set that reboot and we reset the mindset.
It's all about resetting that mindset. All right. So why would you say it's so important to do this?
So, in our 40s, 50s, life is very much not over. There's many very good years ahead of us. And women often feel at this time a real pull to find their purpose and meaning, and fill these future years with some purpose. They want to have a fun and active social life. We want to maintain our health and well-being and stay as vital as we can for those years ahead. But first, perhaps we need to sort of take the driver's seat, take control, make a few changes. And that means putting ourselves at the top of that big, long to-do list.
Yeah.
So my message, you're never too old and it's never too late to realize your goals and ambitions.
And you say that, and it makes me realize there's more I still want to do. I'm 45, right? I got two little ones, and I'm working hard. But I want to write a book, Dr. Joe. I want to. That's my next chapter.
Okay.
Literally, how funny do I use the word chapter? But
Yeah.
I always make excuses, and I don't have the time to do it. I say, and right now my kids are young. I get it, but it's on my bucket list. But I
Mhm.
do want more from life, and I know it's possible, but I'm going to need guidance. So thank you for that.
Okay.
So how would you say all this kind of shows up in the clients that you coach?
Well, let me tell you about a client who really made a big reset last year. She, at the start of our program of working together, she described for me what she wanted to get out of the coaching program. And she described this picture of what she described of as an amazing woman. That was the words that she used. This woman obviously had it all together. She was calm and clear and decisive. She was happy and contented. She celebrated her wins rather than focusing on negatives. And she was really bossing it in the workplace. She believed in herself. She didn't need validation from anybody else. And, she was achieving her goals.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it turns out that this amazing woman was, in fact, the woman who my client had always envisaged for herself, the woman that she thought she would be in her future. But she'd put this future self on hold while she raised her family. And now she felt so far away from this image, but she'd reached a point where she wanted to become that woman. She wanted to reconnect with that image. The children were growing up and the time felt right. So we agreed to keep this image of this amazing woman. This was the nickname we had for her. We kept her in mind as she set her intentions for how we would work together. And she started to realize that she'd been making other people happy at her own expense. She realized she wanted to change the status quo, and this was going to be scary. But she vowed that she would be brave, she would be kinder to herself, and she would be open to the process. So, three ingredients there that I think are really important: courage, self compassion, and trust in the process.
All right, good to know. And then also, do you want to talk more about what maybe she's doing now?
So,
How it all worked
I
out? I like
cannot
hearing the good.
describe, yeah, the change in this woman over the period of time we worked together. She has made some big decisions. She's made some huge changes. She took the time and space to take time to reflect.
Mm-hmm.
She also opened up to big picture thinking, really sort of looking to what the possibilities might be. And she was really open to the process, developing a growth mindset, and was open and being, was prepared to be challenged by me during our conversations together. But now she is very much in the driving seat. She has reset her own GPS system.
Wow.
And this is not only benefiting her, but it's also, had a ripple effect on the family and her friends around her. Um, she seems to have this renewed sense of purpose. So just to finish off, this client has now got a renewed sense of purpose. She's started training for a different role in her workplace. And I just feel so proud of her. I've thoroughly enjoyed working with her and watching her transformation.
Got it. And now, would you say that why would you think that this is needed for her, for women in general? Or did I jump the gun there?
Oh, that's okay. Um, well, firstly, I want to talk about how when I work with a client like this, um, we work on self-belief, we work on self-worth, all sorts of things. But one of the first things I introduce them to is the idea of radical replenishment. And it's a very conscious way of doing something to recharge the batteries, to have you feeling refreshed, revitalized, revived, ready to be able to deal with anything and everything. So that's compared with what.
And Dr. Joe, I apologize. You have frozen again. Dr. Joe, are you
But
with
isn't
us?
necessarily replenishing. Oh,
Sorry.
we've frozen again.
Yes, there's definitely a connection issue. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Oh, oh, I'm sorry about that. I didn't think there was any issues at my end.
Sorry.
Okay, so I'll try and pick up. Yeah,
Thank
talking
you.
about radical replenishment as opposed to rest and relaxation. So, rest and relaxation can be quite passive. It can just be lying on the couch watching TV, having a lie in on a Sunday morning. But radical replenishment is about really actively and consciously doing something to recharge the batteries, um, but filling all the tanks. We've got to be full of energy, both physically and mentally, creatively and emotionally. So think about the things that could give you a real boost in this sort of direction. What is
Yes.
it that physically and mentally recharges you?
I'm into walking. I feel grounded with nature. Walking in my backyard with my shoes off on the grass, I feel so good. What are some other
Yeah,
suggestions?
absolutely. Yeah, long walks out in nature, really noticing, the beauty of nature, and then really honing down into the little tiny things that we often miss as we're out and about. Um, Singing and dancing, high energy music, really sort of, get the feel good hormones flowing. Any exercise that gets the heart rate up. Um, Doing something that's going to make you laugh. Perhaps just, a fun social night with friends, or watching comedy, or a funny film, that sort of thing. Having a really good laugh is a good de-stressor and really sort of fills up the fun element. Or perhaps doing something quite creative, maybe painting or drawing if you're a creative type person. Maybe it's picking up a hobby that you used to do and you don't do anymore. Or maybe something that's challenging and is going to push you out of your comfort zone a little bit. But the sense of achievement that you get, that big boost of having done something challenging and difficult, that really fills up the energetic tanks. So there might be others that you can think of.
Okay. Well, I think, like I said, I love the whole walking aspect, but I tell you for the summer, I also like swimming. To be swimming makes me
Mm,
feel so relaxed, so calm, so peaceful. And when you go into water, breathe, and it's like there's silence around you, and I feel so well. We got a pool this summer, so it feels so relaxing to do.
yeah,
Or even at the beach, we went
absolutely.
to the beach with my kids, and just being in the ocean and the sound of the waves, all of that really I think is just relaxing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
but there's so much that I have to start doing to appreciate that more. For example, which I think you probably would recommend, is putting down, where's my phone, putting this down, right? A
Absolutely.
little too much, guilty on the computer, on the checking
Yeah.
social media, checking news articles. When is enough? A lot of us are occupying our time the wrong way, and we're not doing enough of those better
Mm,
quality type situations that are make us feel better, give us the right mindset. What is your take on that, if you don't mind? How do we limit
absolutely.
ourselves?
Yeah.
We wake up, go to our phone, most of us, instead of taking
Mm.
that time to relax, to meditate, to think about our day, or to do. It's this new habit of us jumping up to our phones. Can you give us
Definitely.
any advice on that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a discipline, I suppose, in setting a habit around that. Perhaps a rule that you might set for yourself in the morning. I'm not going to look at the phone until I've been up and had breakfast and a shower, perhaps. But yeah, we get so drawn into that world of social media and the news and media outlets on the phone, and it just takes us out of ourselves, and focuses on whatever else we're coming up against. In some cases, it might be, you know, some of the difficult things that we're seeing in the news. And in other cases, we end up doing the comparison stuff where we're seeing other people's best lives because that's how they're portraying themselves on social media. And then we get caught up in that whole whirlwind of comparisonitis and not feeling good enough. So stay in your own lane. You are you do, your life your way, and don't necessarily get drawn into some of the comparisons that go on in that world of social media.
All right. And we also want to remind everyone how we could reach you, Dr. Joe Baldwin Coaching. How could we do that?
Okay, my website is www.drjoebaldwin.co.uk. And on the website, there's lots of information about my coaching programs, how I work. And there's also a book a call button there. So that'll take you to my diary scheduling site. Um, Book a call, 30 minutes. We can have a chat about what's going on for you, potentially how we might work together around that. Totally free and absolutely no obligation to carry on working together. But I do hope that in all of those calls with potential clients, that I at least inspire you in some way, that you take away a little gem, a little moment of inspiration as to how you might take the first step
No.
to making a change.
Well, again, that's to remind everyone the message that we're trying to get across for today. Could you share that with us?
Yeah, I think the main message really is to know that it is possible to reset, um, to change course, just like adjusting the GPS in the car. I think it's also important to appreciate the importance of prioritizing your own well-being, and that's both physical and mental well-being. But knowing that it's up to you to take the responsibility yourself for doing that. It's up to you to do the work to figure out what it is you need, how you're going to replenish your energies, and how you're going to keep moving forwards on whichever new route you've plotted for yourself. Now, it's always much easier if you have a supporter to help you do that, a cheerleader along the way. And I think that's where I come in. I believe I can help you connect with your purpose. I can help you identify what you want to change, figure out what's been holding you back, maybe, and boost your self belief so you start to feel more comfortable about pressing that reset button. So, in a metaphorical way, I'll hold your hand as you go. I'll stop you from giving up and I'll celebrate all the little wins along the way and keep you going.
Got it. Well, also want to remind everyone just a little bit about your credentials and background. Would you mind sharing?
Sure, yes. So I started out my professional life as a hospital doctor. I worked in obstetrics and gynecology. And by the time my second baby was about to be born, I found that I was just struggling with that whole work life balance, the juggle of the silly number of hours a week we were working as junior doctors, as well as, trying to be a good mum and raising my family the way I wanted to. So I took a career break from medicine. And ultimately, I never did go back to medicine. Um, and having had some coaching for myself, at a bit of a low point in my life, I recognized how transformative coaching can be. It really pepped me up. That was my reset moment, if you like. And I became so enthusiastic about the tools and coaching resources that I had learned for myself that I wanted to be able to share them with other women. So I retrained as a coach in 2019 and set up the business. And I am thoroughly enjoying the sense of pride and privilege when I share these women's journeys as they make their own transformations. It's really special.
Got it. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Joe. And by the way, for women who want more out of their life, you do offer an initial consultation, correct? If someone is interested in your services?
Absolutely. Yeah, totally free, 30-minute call. Get to know each other, me to find out what issues you're struggling with at the moment, what changes you might want to make, and a chance for you to check me out. I always think it's really important for you to be comfortable and happy with a potential coach before you embark on working together. And that call, as I say, no obligation to continue working together, but I do hope that even in that 30 minutes that I can spark a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of motivation, boost the mojo maybe.
Great. Well, also let's point out, you can go to the website and you also offer some guides, some steps to help us get out of our comfort zone, right? So more confidence, more energy, more direction. And could you share another story maybe of, someone that you've been working with and the success of what they do? Because I just, that speaks volumes to know that your work is appreciated and you're doing awesome.
Sure. Yeah, I worked with a young hospital doctor about a year or so ago, and she was approaching the point where she was about to do her professional postgraduate exams that would take her up to the next level, consultant level here in the UK. And she was really struggling with her own self confidence and self belief, and really feeling indecisive about what did she want, even if she achieved these exams. Was a family what she wanted. She felt really, really uncertain about things and just couldn't see her future at all. So we started working together, and we put in place lots of work to boost her self-confidence, to help her feel grounded and help her feel that she was, be able to cope with the preparation work leading up to the exams. And then we did a process called soft power planning, where we look into the future, but in a very different way than the normal planning process. It's very different to setting goals and smart goals and that sort of thing. We do a process where we sort of take you to a point in the future, have you feel what's going on for you there, and then kind of work backwards and think, well, what must I have been doing at this point to have achieved that by that point? And then we sort of come back in time. And that process really, really helped her. And I'm pleased to say that she passed her postgraduate exams. She is now expecting her first baby, and I'm sure a consultancy post is the next thing on the list. I'm sure she's not too far away from that at all. And again, it was just lovely to see her self-belief and her confidence increase and grow. There was one day she sent me a photograph of her, a paper at a medical conference. And she said, I'm just stood here remembering all the little tips that you've given to me, and I'm completely owning this moment in time now. And I'm going to go out there and absolutely nail it. And she did.
Oh, I loved hearing those good stories. Seriously, thank you so much. Now, what about for a coach like you? Do you still get coached? How does it work? You
Oh,
become
yeah.
like an expert. Does the coach still need coaching?
Yeah, coaches are very, very human, and all good coaches should have their own coach. I firmly believe in that. We're all still a work in progress. We all have our moments of indecision, our own moments of, am I doing this well enough?
Mhm.
But yeah, definitely have a coach mentor and supervisor, so that we can bring things that have come up for us during a coaching process with a client that's perhaps affecting us in some way, or to be able to talk through how could I have done that better? Am I bringing the very best of myself for my clients? So yeah, so I very much believe in that's the kind of work a coach should do for herself. Yeah.
Right. And we still got 3 minutes left in the show today. What other aspect of your work do you want to kind of highlight with our listeners?
Just to say that, as you alluded to there, Jill, if you look at the website, there are a few free resources there. 7 steps to self-confidence, I think it's called. The Overwhelm First Aid Kit, which is a process to help you in that moment of overwhelm when things are all feeling a bit too much and on top of you. And I have a sort of a triage process that can help you in that frantic and fraught kind of a moment. So yeah, there's a few free resources there that could be an introductory way of approaching whether you'd perhaps want to do some work with me or not.
Well, thank you so much. And let's remind everyone how we can reach you. Dr. Joe Baldwin Coaching, again, for women out there who want more in their lives and their career and just to do better and, be more successful because you know what? You got to keep trying. And like, again, COVID inspired me and I think so many of us to really go for what we want. And just because you get there, there's still it's that whole Miley Cyrus song. I don't know if you know the song. It's called It's the Climb. It's like once you reach the
Oh,
top, like you think it's about that, and then you're at the top and you're like, this isn't so great. It was all about the journey to get there. So let's do it again. Let's do another climb. Let's get
now
to the
what?
peak again. Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's how I perceive your coaching, which is true, right? Because we get to the top and then you know what? we realized there's more tops.
Absolutely. And now what? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you so much. Pleasure having you back here and looking forward to the next time we connect. And do I say good night, good evening, good afternoon? Wait, what time is
Good
it?
afternoon. Yes,
Good.
it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon here in
Enjoy
UK.
enjoy your evening and we'll talk soon, okay?
Thank you.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.